welcome to my podcast, to my show. I'm super excited to have you here. And let's jump right in.
Thank you for having me. I love our connections without even knowing all of the ones we've had.
Yes, it's so true. Yet we're connected through other people, which is really, really cool. So I'm super happy to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Anna, honey, can you share your journey with us and what really inspired you to pursue your current career path that you're on?
Yeah. Oh gosh. So we were chatting pre-show. I'm also a Polish immigrant. I came to Canada when I was 6 years old and being raised by traditional, Polish parents, immigrant parents. It was really about studying hard, getting good grades, and eventually finding that safe and secure job. So I followed that society's definition of success. I went to an Ivy League business school, started climbing the corporate ladder in sales and marketing, and just realized, that I don't see myself doing this for the rest of my career. And there was this passion, this fire, this desire within me to figure out, what would my ideal career look like? And I mean, since then, this was 2010, I've had many different careers, but I decided to pursue entrepreneurship. And my first real entry gateway into entrepreneurship was through network marketing. And, it was interesting when I first started getting those objections of is this a pyramid scheme? My Polish dad is like, you're building a pyramid scheme. I'm like, what is a pyramid scheme? My programming and my conditioning was really corporate and corporate career. So I didn't know what those things meant. And it was just ignorance on fire. Let's see how fast and how well we can build this business. And so within 4 years, I grew a huge network marketing business. We were traveling around the world speaking. I realized that I'm a great entrepreneur. I love to do this. I love to support others in, shifting their mindset and building their own businesses. And so that really, I'm still a very big fan of the network marketing industry for someone, especially for people who are ooh, should I try entrepreneurship? I don't know. Is this for me? Do I leave my career? I'm test the ground, check it out. I truly don't believe entrepreneurship is for everybody, but test it out, put yourself in there, take a leap, experiment, build experiences, try things out, and then you'll know. And then follow that passion, follow that fire. And so after that experience, I decided that I wanted to own my own company. I wanted to own a product-based business. And so having this beautiful journey, 6-year journey of personal development and personal growth and transforming, subconscious beliefs that were no longer serving me and really diving deep into mindset and personal growth and expansion, I launched with a business partner, a company called Love Powered Co., which was focused on mindfulness tools for families. And so we had affirmation cards and gratitude cards and kindness cards that really set the foundation of this self-awareness. And we wanted to focus on children as they are the next generation. They are the future. And so that company grew over 6 years. We had, tremendous success, tremendous brand awareness. And then we decided to sell the company. So we sold the company about 2 years ago, and I shifted naturally into coaching female entrepreneurs and really specifically focused on moving your idea into a business. So going from idea to launch. And that's really what I've been focused on over the last couple of years, and focused on startup strategists. And it's been beautiful witnessing women, take their idea, take their vision and turn it into something, turn it not just into a hobby or a passion project, which I saw a lot in network marketing. A lot of network marketing is, this is something I'm doing on the side. This is my side hustle in old terminology, but I really love supporting women to build their legacy. And we start with that. So that's what I'm
beautiful. Yeah. I find that a lot of women have that fear of moving forward and moving to the next step. So the question would be for me, what are some of the biggest challenges that these women women entrepreneur face in today
today's society, for example? Mm-hmm. A lot of the things that come up at the beginning is I just don't know how. I tend to attract a lot of women with a lot of brilliant ideas. And, in human design, these tend to be like manifesting generators. I'm a generator, so I consider myself, I'm an executionist. I take this and I make it happen. I move it to the next step. And oftentimes there's two things. One is I have this idea, but I don't know how. I've never built a business. I don't have the experience. I don't have the skills. I don't have the expertise. And then, of course, there's the mindset blocks that come in, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of it not working, but them unable to find the solution for it, right? So those main mindset blocks, that's one. The other woman that comes to me, she has too many ideas. And so she has this roster of ideas. One, doesn't know how to execute, but two, doesn't really know which way to go. So it's like that lack of clarity because there's so much passion and so much excitement that it really just creates analysis paralysis and there's no movement. And so that's what I'm finding right now. And, since I started entrepreneurship, I have always had a coach, whether it was a strategy coach, a business coach, or more of a mindset coach, or now more of a spiritual advisor or an intuitive coach, or, there's always been someone beside me because I realize that I'm someone who likes to fast track success. For me, I get bored and I get stagnant if things are moving very slowly. And so I think it's interesting and definitely not a coincidence, a definite synchronicity that I'm now guiding women to move from idea to launch within 90 days. Like that's kind of my system that I take women through.
No, you mentioned the fear aspect of it. I think that's a huge thing for majority of people within business. Like you mentioned, taking that next step. Okay. So that will bring me to a point of how do you navigate with women to get them to the next point, to the next level in their business, in their career, in their on their journey of business as an entrepreneur, ladies?
Yeah. Well, first is clarity. It's figuring out like, why do you want this? What do you want to create? But what's that driving reason, that driving passion, purpose, desire behind it all? Because when we have that powerful why, when we have that powerful reason, then all of the other things that I like to call, the fluff around it, it starts to disappear if that reason, if that why is powerful enough. Right. So that number one needs to be a strong foundation. And I support women to get really clear on that. I do strongly believe that we are here for a reason. We're here for our souls to ascend. And we're also here to live a fucking epic experience. And so what is the point of being in a safe, secure job that is drying, like soul sucking, because it provides financial stability or because it supports your car lease payment because you have to keep up with the Joneses in your neighborhood, And so these are the real raw conversations we're having. Like, are you trying to keep up and prove yourself to others? Meanwhile, everyone else is trying to do the same thing. So let's get back to you. Let's go back to your inner work and your inner world. And like, what do you really desire? Like, what do you desire your experience in this lifetime to be? What impact do you want to create? How do you want to feel? And so many people are just stuck in the day-to-day, those mundane routines. Like I remember waking up on Sundays and just actually I'm experiencing it right now, like this chest pressure and just dreading Monday morning, coming into the cubicle, doing shit that I don't like to do because someone's telling me to do it. And
you're like on autopilot, constantly
you're
doing
living.
Yeah.
And, this hasn't been my reality for almost 15 years, but I very much so took myself back to that feeling right now. And it's a horrible feeling. And I get it. We have responsibilities. We have bills to pay. But there's so many different ways. Like once you're in alignment and, in the frequency realm, and I talk a lot about frequency and energy, not just mindset, that was my initial work in personal development, was mindset. But now, I talk to my clients about becoming an energetic match for their desires. So if we go back and you're experiencing this feeling, but yes, you're meant for more. Yes, you maybe hold an idea or a vision, but you're paralyzed within the fear. I look at, well, what are you sacrificing staying here? Right? Like there's a lot of things you're sacrificing if you continue doing what you're already doing. But number two, if you take the leap and you're scared, and that's okay, but you work on yourself, those next steps will appear. They always do. And so in the frequency terms, we talk about it like becoming an energetic match for the things that you desire. So then if you go inward and start focusing on yourself, focusing on how you feel, shifting subconscious programming that no longer serves us. For me, being a Polish immigrant, a lot of that was around money. And we come from a communist country, and there wasn't enough. And that, even though we may not remember it, is deeply programmed in our cells. Yeah. And so a lot of the first year's work, not first year, but like first 5 to 10 years of work that I did on myself was the like, I am worthy of abundance because I am. Like, there's no why, like I'm not telling you why. It's just simply because I am. I'm human and my soul's here and I'm having the best fucking experience in my lifetime, Yeah. And it took a long time to get here. But
I know, I feel you, because I feel exactly the same. And I remember growing up, my papush, my dad, used to always say, money do not grow on trees. You have to work hard to get where you want to be. And I had that epiphany moment about 8 years ago. And that's when things shifted for me, myself, where I had to redefine and really, truly find, first of all, who I am, what I was here to do, what's the reason I'm here, how can I serve others? So I went through exactly same thing. It's like that shift was definitely needed. It was late in my life, but that's okay.
And that's okay. There's no, everyone's on their own time.
Totally understand. I feel you. I hear you. And I know a lot of people are still stuck in that old paradigm of I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I can't get this, or things like that, So because you work with women, can you tell me the steps you take with these women or people in general to achieve, their success?
Yeah. So focusing and like you can see, I've had experience in 3 different industries, and, I would like to think that they've been successful experiences. And I've really landed in this place of startup, like my passion. So what my husband does is he does scaling. He does online advertising. He helps businesses that, currently are established. They have systems and processes they're working, and he helps them scale through online advertising. So he does phase 2 of business. I do phase 1 because I love that initial phase. And it might be the generator in me, whatever it is, but that I always bring myself back to the beginnings. Like, yes, there's fear in the beginning, and yet there's this like excitement. There's this like the birthing of something that we don't know exactly how it's going to turn out to, and yet we hold the vision. And so that's kind of how I've worked within every business that I've launched is I held the great vision. And even though I didn't know the exact step by step, I worked on myself. I worked on my mindset. I worked on my energetics. I worked on limiting beliefs that could possibly get in the way. And so you could see, it's like I did the inner work. There was this gap of, I don't know the exact steps, but at the same time, I hold the faith and the trust and the belief that the right people, circumstances, opportunities, they will present themselves. And yet I also hold that big vision. Like, I know where I desire to take this company, like this or something better. And so that energy in itself always opened up the most beautiful pathways. Like when I look at building Love Powered Co., things like getting into indigo. We held the vision to be in indigo stores across Canada. We didn't know how, but from day one, we held that vision. We held the vision to work with Jillian Harris, being, for her, like Jillian for Canadian entrepreneurs is the biggest influencer. Like she transformed the brand awareness of small businesses because she's such a believer in small businesses. So we knew we would work, and I'll speak for myself. I knew we would work with Jillian Harris in collaboration. Day one, when we clicked launch on the website, I didn't know the steps. The way that it happened was absolute natural and yet magic and miracles. Like there was no way day one we could have predicted how it was going to go. And so this is where I love working with startup entrepreneurs, and not just again, I don't work with the hobbyists. Like I did that through network marketing, and it was draining. It was exhausting trying to move people to success when they didn't hold the vision of success. And so where I got stuck in network marketing is oftentimes my vision for you was way bigger than any vision you ever held. And then that led to burnout. That was exhausting. That was not soul fueling. And so working with the right avatar in this phase of my life right now, in this stage of business, a woman who holds the vision, a woman who wants to create impact. She wants to create something that's going to live on way beyond her for herself and her family, like create that legacy. And then I support her with the step-by-step and how to do it. Now, this is where we have ongoing support. So we do, we meet weekly. This is just, the hows of the coaching, but I also offer ongoing support. So, when that fear creeps in, or maybe there's rejection, or maybe, sometimes it's as simple as I posted a reel and I thought it was going to be so good, but no one's even engaging in it. Like it's just small things like that where you can have someone right next to you to move you out of that and just get you back into energetic alignment, back connected to that vision versus of like, what are we stuck in the fluff right now that's not serving us? Like this is the power of a coach. And again, this is why I've always had someone beside me, because I like to move through things fast versus being stuck in my own shit and just, playing that pity party where I'm like, hey, we got to move through this. This is actually a lot more draining than being in momentum and movement.
Yeah. Well, your ego can come in the way too. And then it's like, well, I don't need the coach and I don't need this. And it's like, okay, well, if you want to move further, take that ego away.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with ego, but sometimes it has to be in check kind of thing, So
100%. And it's like align with the people that are a few steps ahead of you. Get yourself in the rooms where you feel inspired and motivated and have these
100%
conversations versus, sharing your big grand vision with your immigrant father who has never built a business. And, love my dad. He taught me hard work, but he never supported me in building my businesses because he never understood. Yeah. And so it's like, find the right people at every stage of your life. And, you mentioned something too with the hard work, like that's been my conditioning and programming, like work hard. That is your measure of success. But what I realized, and this must have been in like 2016. Yeah, this was exactly in 2016 when my first daughter was born. Those old habits, patterns, strategies, like you said, old paradigms, they just stopped working. So everything I knew and how I prided myself on being a hard worker, none of it worked anymore. And that's where, for me, really, it was looking at, okay, this is the next big shift of how you're living and how you're operating. And it's been such a blessing because literally right now, we don't have to work hard. Like the traditional hard, the sacrifice hard to create epic ventures. And yes, there's seasons. If you're launching beginning phases, there's a lot more hard work than ever before. But the hard work that leads to burnout and unfulfillment, like we get to bypass that right now.
Yeah. I love the say of work smarter, not harder. That's a big one for me as well.
That's a big one.
unlike you. It's like that has been so ingrained with me. Work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard, and you get to the point where you want to be. And I know what you're saying because I left the corporate world 2007. So it's been close to 17, 18 years now, and never looked back.
You never look back. So
So it's like,
similar.
me navigating through my businesses as well to be where I am right now. And now creating this podcast last year, taking a little bit break in between, but I'm back and I love this because it gives me the next challenge of me coming out and actually speaking because I have fear of speaking. So I have created this because I had to challenge myself and
I
get to the
love it.
point where you have to get out there and you have to speak.
Yes.
So it's, it's really good for me because it has taught me so much again about myself, about what I'm capable of. And, if I screw up, oh, well, it's okay.
That's actually beautiful. And you're showing people that, you continue doing it anyway. You keep moving forward. And
Exactly.
you're showing people like, this whole concept of perfection too. It's like, oh, I won't launch a podcast because it has to be perfect.
That's it.
And no, it doesn't. Actually, by screwing up, you're giving people permission to just launch it and just go for it and figure it out. So
exactly.
I that's really inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. So now, what role has social media played in your career and how important is it?
I mean, social media for me personally has played a huge role. Like most of my, in every business. Although first business network marketing was pre-Instagram, it was actually, that was really word, like person to person, in person, which looking back, it takes a lot more time. It's a significantly greater time investment. You have to drive to the coffee shop and you have to meet the person and then you have to drive home. So it's a larger time investment. But what I'm seeing now actually is people going back to like quote unquote old school business building strategies that used to work. And for many reasons. One is social media has gotten way more busier. There's a lot more noise. There's a lot more people online. There's a lot more. And I don't believe in competition, but in a sense of, there's 1,000,001 business coaches who do probably more what I do. Right. So it's like, there's this kind of, really, you need to figure out how to stand out amongst the crowd, where before, if we look at even 5 years ago, it was a little bit quieter. Like post-pandemic, every industry boomed. And so first business, no social media. Second business, like Love Powered Co. product business, we relied heavily on social media. And we had a well-rounded strategy where we had retail partnerships and then we had our online partnerships and our online strategy. So influencer marketing at the time was exploding. So we had a lot of success working with influencers. Jessica Alba shared our product. There was a lot of brand awareness through influencer marketing. Right now, I also feel that's saturated as a strategy. Right now, where I'm seeing success is activations, like getting back in person and meeting your clients in person, supporting them to experience your product or service in person. So I'm seeing kind of the shift back to, again, old school
and
strategies.
I wanted to ask you also about networking, getting back into networking with people, having these big, maybe not big, but having these, especially I notice here in the Ottawa area, that women entrepreneurs coming together. And they create these networking meetings when you go in, have your lunch or cocktail or whatever, and you discuss and you exchange ideas and you get familiar with the people around, what they do. So, which is really, really interesting. So, I've been part of it too. And it's really nice to actually kind of get out of the house because during COVID, we've been also kind of like, suppressed in the way where we never go out or we never do this for quite some time. So it's nice to see this coming back where that humanly connection is something. I mean, I would love to have you and my guests coming and having them live, but I think Ottawa is a little bit too small for that.
Right. And it's exactly that. And we are creating that human to human connection. So we're seeing a lot of that, those ways coming back, like Eventbrite. Yeah, in my first business, again, 2010, Eventbrite, and even going to free networking events, like that was a big part of my growth, was getting out there, meeting people, exchanging information, connecting. And we're coming back to that. We crave it. We miss it. A lot of people are zoomed out. Obviously, there's certain things that remain on Zoom, which gives us that, the time productivity. So I would say, yeah, I've always seen social media as a free platform to potentially connect with your ideal client. What I am seeing as critical right now on social media is to be really specific with what you offer and to be really specific with who you're speaking to. The more broader you are, the more you get lost in the noise. The more that you can be specific and niche down, and maybe there'll be people that would rebel against this, or, be like, no, that's not true. But where I'm seeing success is where my clients are very specific with who they're speaking to. They're catering a solution to a very specific niche. And this might change, but right now, because there is so much volume and so much noise, it's about positioning yourself in front of the right audience who wants what you have to offer.
Right. Yeah, no, it's true. It's like, as a podcaster too, you have to be, okay, what do you cater to?
Exactly.
Who I want my audience, or what audience I want them to listen to. Like it's very specific. Yeah. So
it's very specific
on women, but it's more of, okay, how do I go with it? But I'm still in the process. It's brand new, and I'm okay with it.
I
year from now,
I have an idea for you. We can talk about it when this
we will. Thank you.
It's niche, so we'll see.
Yeah. So let's get back to it. How do you stay motivated and inspired, especially some turbulence or some tough times? Because we all go through these times where we're a little bit down or whatever. So what do you do? How do you stay motivated?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, honestly, last year was a big year of, like, it felt more like a void. So we went through, the sale of a company, which was really busy and exhilarating, to then being like, okay, well, what does this next chapter look like for me? Naturally, I moved into coaching, but at the same time, I had this crazy wild idea to move my family to Mexico for the school year. So then I took on the responsibility of, okay, my children at the time, I think they were 5 and 7. And it's like, they're in a new country. They don't speak the language. So I basically did to my kids what my parents did to me, arriving to Canada when I was 6 years old in the middle of winter, not speaking the language. So I did the same to my children, but I brought them to paradise with the intention of them, learning Spanish and really just redefining our lifestyle. My husband and I have always been like, whatever we do is for the lifestyle, to have the most amazing experience that we can have. And freedom has always been our core value. And so we have this, like, portability and movability. We held the vision for that from day one when we left our careers. Like, whatever we do, freedom is our core value. We want to be portable. We want to be movable, and we want to really design our life based on whatever it is that we want to do. And so we came to Mexico just because it looked like a great idea, and I wanted my kids to learn Spanish, which obviously took a lot of logistics. It wasn't just like, oh, we moved my kids to Mexico. Like, no, we own a house in Canada and we have community there. And, there was a lot. But it was, again, following that intuition, that sacral hit, this like, ooh, there's something pulling us there. Is it a forever move? I don't think so. But it's an incredible experience that we're all moving through. Now, being year 2 of my kids going to school here, I can finally say they feel grounded. It took time. And so in that first year, I took on that responsibility. Like, this was my idea. And all I want is my children to feel happy. And I want them to be grounded. And I want them to feel the gratitude that I feel that we're able to do this. And so for me, that moved me within Anna and my business and all the other roles that I play into kind of this void space of like, okay, well, what am I creating next? Am I going all in on the coaching? Are we doing something else?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is my passion and purpose? And so the first thing really was that, like, I needed to get clear, and it took time. And so because it took time, the inner work really went deep, because naturally, being a generator, there was a lot of impatience. There was a lot of judgment of myself. Like, you don't just do nothing. Like that's not who you are. And so I went through all of these emotions, and where I can kind of like pat myself on the back is I didn't rush the process. I really had the awareness to say, okay, this is a transition phase in life and in business. And what does the next chapter look like? And I didn't want to just say yes or jump into anything next just to do it.
Right.
You know? Oh, and at the same time, I turned 40. So there was this like, wow, we're starting a new decade. And what does this new decade look like? And so, yeah, my celebration comes from really not rushing it. And I can say, honestly, it was only like a few months ago where I was like, okay, I'm going all in, because I also had clients that were in different stages of their business. And I realized that my zone of genius is the startup phase. It's that early phase that I described as to why it brings me so much passion. And I love moving women to that launch phase. And so getting, number one, clear on that, not rushing the process, and at the same time going deep on inner work and looking at, residually, is there still money blocks or limiting beliefs around, worthiness or whatever it was. Like for me, it was really just looking at, what else is standing in the way of this next chapter. And it's fabulous, because once I got that clarity and I kind of felt like I stepped back into myself, like shoulders back, this is what I'm great at, this is what I'm excited about, the right clients started to show themselves. Some came, one came from social, one came as a referral, one came from a sound healing retreat that I did. But it was becoming an energetic match for these women and letting them know, like, hey, this is what I do. And then they raise their hand and saying like, okay, well, I have the vision, I have an idea, and I want to bring it to life, and you're the person. But it took over a year. And the commitment was to not rushing, to not bypassing, to not feeling the feelings. Like it was all of it, and it was messy. And yet I can see now, a year and a half later, like hindsight 2020, I'm so grateful that I allowed myself to be in the mess, in the void, and the uncertainty, and create, once I had experience of that, the messy.
It's like you said, it was the energetic, it was the frequency that has aligned you to where you are now. So that's beautiful. Yeah. It's the belief. So this will bring me to a question, is how do you define faith versus fear?
So faith, and I just found an awesome book for my kids too. It's like the Think and Grow Rich edition for children. And the second thing in the book is faith. So first is desire, like knowing what you really, really, really want. And two is faith, is like believing that no matter what, this or something better is going to work out. And, even if we look at the last 15 years of our life, like my husband always reminds me, like, no matter what, we are blessed and highly favored. And this is like our family mantra, is like, even in our lowest of lowest, like, 2018 was a really hard year for us financially, but we were always taken care of. We always figured it out. Somehow at the point of breakdown, it just like something appeared, a solution presented itself. There was the next path opened itself up for us. And so living from experience, like we have proof, so I like to look at when I get stuck in these situations of, possibly moving towards fear versus faith and saying like, okay, well, and like, what is the fear? And some of the fears are so ridiculous because we create them and they're actually not truth. So it's like, let's just look at finances. The fear is, I don't know what the fear is. Okay, looking back, maybe it's, oh, I won't be able to pay rent. Okay, well, going deeper, like, are we actually going to be on the street? Like, are we going to lose our house? Like, is this fear like real, or is it just being created out of subconscious blocks and limiting beliefs that are standing in the way? Because I was like, okay, if I can't pay my mortgage, as an example, are we going to get kicked out of the house? Well, the answer is no, because I had faith that I could always call my parents. I would find a way to borrow money. I would sell some stuff on Facebook Marketplace. Like, there was always something that I could do, because the worst case scenario would be, yes, like losing the house, becoming homeless. And I coached with Neil Donald Walsh, the author of Conversations with God. And he, like, some of the stuff that I brought to him, and he would just look at me and he's like, well, what's the worst case scenario? He's like, are you going to be on the streets? I said, no. Like, no, I'm way too innovative, creative, resourceful to ever be on the streets in this lifetime.
Right. Worst case scenario, I'm moving with my parents for a couple months until I get back on my feet, and then move on and get a new place, get whatever. So yes, we've
had to do that, like tails between our legs. Like, we've had to do that. And was it the end of the world? No. We were actually lovingly taken care of by my mom, who's an amazing cook, so we go into these spaces of deep fear. But when we really start to peel layer by layer, like an onion, like, the worst case scenario that we create in our minds is actually complete bullshit, right? So like Neil Donald Walsh's example, like, his worst case scenario, he was on the street. But then I was like, I started looking for solutions for him. I'm like, well, why didn't you do this? Like, why did you actually live on the street? And it's part of his story and it's part of his dharma, but it's like, peel it back and sit with it, like, why are you creating this? Where is this coming from? What programming, what deeply rooted beliefs that haven't been brought up to the surface yet? And so that's fear. Like, that's my process of fear. And usually the things I fear, again, it's bullshit. It's like, okay, thank you for trying to keep me safe and protected, but I'm okay. I got this. Like, I don't need my nervous system to be in fight or flight right now. Like, we're safe. We're not going to get eaten by a lion.
And then feel it, let it get through you, and then move on.
And write it out. Honestly, write out the worst case scenario.
Is great for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, like, journal the worst case scenario. Like, go into your fear, bring it up to the surface. When we bring things out to the surface, we actually dismantle its power. So, like, bring the fear, talk to the fear, bring it up, feel the feelings, write out the worst case scenario of that fear, and be like, hey, I see you're trying to protect me, but I'm okay. I'm like, we're not going to die, And then with faith, especially in entrepreneurship, a lot of it is blind faith. But if you have that powerful why and you have that vision, then it's your responsibility to hold the faith. And then always look back at, if you don't have your own evidence of how it turned out way better than you could have ever imagined, borrow someone else's until you have your own. And so that goes back to the journaling, like, keep track of these things. And that's how you build that confidence that, okay, I thought this was my worst case scenario, and gosh, it turned out way better than I could have ever predicted. That's your first piece of evidence. So next time you get stuck and entangled in the fear again, go back to that evidence and just continue building that up for yourself. And that builds your confidence. And move and do something. It's like, so many dreams and ideas live here, like, in our minds, but it's like, do the thing, start the podcast, find that coach, start the business, say yes to what what you've been waiting to say yes to because of the fear, and just sit in the faith, like, trust it's working out for your highest good, this or something better, and it's a practice. It's easy to talk about, but until you've lived it, like, allow that to be your experience. This is what life is all about.
Yes. Fear can really disturb the mind, for sure. It really is like a poison for the mind, where we get into that box and we can't think clearly. We can't see outside of that box. So I love the way that you explained it, the fear and the faith.
And having, like, and also like having your circle, who, and I forgot who said this, but like you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with, right? So
Right.
looking at, when you have the vision, when you have the idea, when you have the fear, when you have, whatever you're moving through, like, do you have someone that you can just call up and say, hey, like, this is what I'm moving through right now? Not someone who's going to judge you, not someone who's going to put you down, not someone who's going to make you spiral downward, but like find your people. And one thing that I found through this journey in entrepreneurship is like, yeah, there's a lot that needs to be cleaned out and looking at what isn't currently serving you, and is that person supporting you to move more into fear than into actually taking the next step to move into your ideal dream in your life, like whatever you're looking to create. And so especially now, like it being a new year, looking at what are all the energy leaks that you currently have. And it's okay to let them go. And it's hard when it's people, but I feel like this has happened like every expansion I've experienced, like in my inner world, has come with new people. And it has come to relationships ending, which created space for the new. And it's not only relationships, but it's like this year, for example, I'm letting, at least this month, I'm starting with this month. And this is the thing, you don't have to commit for a full year, like commit for a week.
Right.
You're setting the rules. I think this is important to remember too, is like,
Yeah,
you're in charge.
change. Yeah.
You get to change, right? Like there's that's what I like is like, you decide, you make the move, and hey, you get to pivot. No one's going to judge you for it because everyone is only concerned about their own selves anyways. Right. And so it's like this month, I'm choosing to let go of alcohol. And I judge that because I'm like, I've never been a big drinker. I like to have a nice glass of wine. And now in Canada, there's this huge movement away from alcohol. But we have a home in Okanagan Valley, which is like wine country of British Columbia. And so I had my story with alcohol. I'm like, I'm good. My relationship with alcohol is clean. I don't need to break up with alcohol. But to be honest, I started getting these rashes, really weird rashes on my hands. And my first intuitive hit was maybe it's alcohol and maybe it's not. And so I'm just saying for January, I'm choosing to not have any, and I want to see how I feel. And it's not because there's a movement, and it's not because Sally quit alcohol. It's because I have decided that right now, this is how I feel. And this is what I want to try, So what's that thing for you? I'm also letting go of, so one is when it comes to relationships this year, keeping in mind, like we're in a new community. There's new relationships being built. There's new friendships. There's a whole different social life here than there is back in Canada. And so I just want depth. I feel like I know everyone in our village and there's a lot of personalities and I want the depth. And this year I'm choosing who receives the entry into my energetic space. Not that I'm any better, but it's just, this is what I'm deciding because our energy is sacred. And our energy is also like, we have a lot of hats that we wear and a lot of roles that we play. And I want to hold each space sacred. Therefore, my energy needs to be protected.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm in the same boat. So rather, instead of having 10 friends, I would rather have 1 or 2 and be solid. And then not talk about the same values, but have the same deep connection. Of understanding the purpose and everything. And when you have a conversation with someone, these conversations are deep and you can actually really honestly open and you can have these discussions, whatever it is, like you said earlier, without judgment, without pointing fingers, without gossiping, without anything. Gossip is the least thing that I want in my life right now. So for me, it's really the same thing. Very focused on the depth of a relationship, of the depth of someone who I can connect on so many different levels. So yeah.
I love that. And to be honest, there's a lot of women seeking the same thing. Like what I'm seeing as a theme is, depth, connection, inner world growth. Like a lot of that, it feels like there's already a lot of depth to this year where 2024 felt like and again, this is just conversations with women that I've had, there was a lot of like, like curiosity about different things and exploration and kind of figuring it out. And it feels like there's this like solid energy moving into 2025 and the desire for depth and more connection and, really
and
valuing
women
yourself.
really coming together and helping each other instead of being,
In competition.
Yeah, totally. Because we're not. What I've learned, and I said that in the past in my podcast, my background is holistic nutritionist, and I find that even in this space of holistic nutritionist, it's very kitty catty kind of thing. And it's like we have so much different offerings as a holistic nutrition. We can do so many different things. We're different, like you said, that niche. Pick that niche and focus on that niche. Because as a holistic nutrition, yes, I can help so many people, but I don't want to do, for example, gut healing is important, whatever. But let's say I don't want to do the gut health. I want to focus on for example, let's just say weight loss. You know what I mean? Yes, gut health is very important part of it, but I'm not focusing 100% on that. Do you know what I mean? So there's like all these different things that holistic nutrition can do. But yeah, I see your point there. So
yeah, and then outsource, your clients who have gut health that they need to to heal to
collaborating and working with other people where you suggest them to others, say, hey, maybe this person can help you because I'm not an expert in this. So I totally agree. Yeah.
100%. That's definitely ideally where we're moving towards.
That's it. So what's one piece of advice that you could give to a female entrepreneur or to any entrepreneur out there when they first starting their business, career, whatever it is?
Yes. I feel this has been kind of the theme of our conversation. So I'm going to just repeat it again because I think there's power in it. One, get clarity on your why. Your why becomes your foundational reason for this journey. Like it's going to be your fuel. And then hold that vision. Like don't worry about the in between. Like don't worry, don't allow the fear to come in. Let the in between be the in between, but focus the foundation, the why, the reason for what you're doing. Then there's the in between that if you hold the faith will present itself. Like you will know what next step to take. And then hold the big vision. Like what is your vision? What impact do you want to create? What legacy do you want to leave behind? How are you transforming your lifestyle? How is this impacting your family? Like get really, really clear on the vision for this very thing that you want to birth into reality. Or maybe you've already birthed it and it's like, okay, am I actually treating this like a business or is it a hobby for me? And so knowing that already shifts energetics because how you show up for a hobby and how you show up for an empire is completely different. And so that's what I would say is have those things very clear and then continue doing the inner work. Like focus on your inner world. I was the person that was like, I'm a generator. I don't meditate. I have too much energy. And I've also committed to starting with 5 minutes, really just tuning in and no, not a guided meditation, not a moving meditation, because those things I've mastered, but it's leaning into the things that bring discomfort that it's not just to say I meditated. I'm not sharing that I'm meditating. It's to say like, to feel that transformation. So I've done the easy walking meditation, guided meditation, mastered. Fantastic. Now I've resisted the sitting in stillness and just focusing on breath, going with it. So that's another shift, another dimension, another layer of my own inner work that I've added in. And it's amazing. I actually miss it when I don't do it. So find that thing for you, like go inward, visit those edges that you haven't yet visited, and just focus on your own self-transformation because you feel way better on the other side. And the world of opportunities presents itself.
Yes, I 100% agree. It's very important to have that kind of routine getting up because we can so easily fall through that process of, we were talking about earlier, of the go, 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 go. And we get in that pattern of going, but not really focusing. And it's like we get into that programming again of getting up in the morning, having that morning coffee, getting the kids to school, doing our job, doing this, doing that. And then the day is done. And it's like, what the hell? Where did it go?
Yeah.
So having this morning gratitude, setting up the attention is so important. First thing in the morning, get up. The 10 minutes, your alarm goes off at, let's say, 6 o'clock in the morning. Get up at 5:45.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
I don't know, 5:30, whatever it's good for you. I always say that to my clients too. Get up early and then have that time to yourself. Have that morning coffee, with you if you really want to.
Yes.
Have it in peace, and then, it's so important. The breath,
it's so
connect,
important.
so.
Yeah.
Can you discuss, if you have any programs that you currently offering that, for example, supports female entrepreneurs? If you'd like to share, how they can reach you. Is there a link? Is there obviously social media?
Yeah, of course. So, I realize that my zone of genius really is one-to-one. Like, I just love getting in there. And I love every one of my clients is from different industries. They do different things. Some are product business, some are service business, some are coaches. And it's like, I love to get in there. And so I don't host, I don't have any programs. I work one-to-one with clients. My website's annalozano.com. And then I add value on Instagram and via my email list. So the Instagram is _Anna
Awesome. I will definitely at the end of the podcast post everything so people can have all the information. So yeah.
Thank you.
So one more thing, actually 2 more questions. If you could change one thing about the way people approach entrepreneurship today, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. I am loving the shifts that I'm seeing. One thing that we're in right now, so we've moved from the Pisces era into Aquarius, and Aquarius very much so is about community. It's about collaboration. It's about conscious technologies. And so it's just been so beautiful to be in that. I've been through building a business in the Piscean era, which was very competition. It was, ego driven. It's me, moving to the top. Doesn't matter, who you trample along the way. We felt that it was the hustle era. And so now many of us kind of around, I would say 2012 to 2016 started to feel like those ways were no longer working. And it took time to realize, how are we going to do it differently? And now we've actually landed in the Aquarius age. This is now the Aquarius age in astrology for the next 200 years. And so, no kidding, things were no longer working because we were actually in a shift, not only energetically, but planetary shift. And so it's a beautiful time to build businesses. It's defining what feels good for you, leading with authenticity, leading with integrity, leading with alignment, and just moving towards those things that fuel you. And it really is a beautiful time to build a business. And I feel like so many incredible companies are going to be created that really move humanity, that build new systems, that create the new. And so if that's an idea that you hold, go for it. You were holding that idea for a reason. It didn't come through you just by chance. So also know and trust that, and then figure out how to take that next step.
Nice. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Now, one more question. I know books are very important. If there's 1, 2 books that you would recommend for people to read, what would it be?
Yes. So, such a good, there's so many.
I know there's a lot.
There's so many. I'm like looking at my bookshelf right now. One book that I bought probably, gosh, 2010, 12, like early onset, was A New Earth. And I'm holding it right now. And I never read it. And 2024, I dove in, and
Is that Edgar Tolle?
yeah,
Yes.
it all made sense. Like if I'm curious what I would have gotten from it if I read it a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
I had it, but I never opened it. Just like I didn't open The Power of Now. And so I dove into it last year, and it made so much sense. And I was just like loved everything that he teaches in the book. And I feel like it's very now, because really we're in this era of creating the new earth that we want to see. So that would be one. Another one would be, really diving into your human design, if that's something new for you. I had so many realizations when I learned about my human design, and it made sense as to why I do things the way that I do, all of it, how I show up, and I have lived true to my design since I became an entrepreneur, but then it just made sense. So I love, when I start with a new client, I ask them to take the test, figure out their human design, send it to me so that I can also understand them on a deeper level. So I would pick up, do the test. There's a free online test. And then if there's any human design books that you're attracted to, like pick it up, get to know yourself more deeply so that you can show up for your vision in full alignment.
I think I am, is it projector?
Are you a projector?
Is it projector generator? I know I have two. I don't remember.
Manifesting generator?
Manifest generator, yes.
Okay. So most of my clients have been many gens. Many manifesting generators hold a lot of ideas.
Too many.
A lot. And I find that as a common thing. And oftentimes for manifesting generators, it is having those multiple pathways to profit, having multiple layers in your brand and your business, because that's what fuels you. And you're able to hold a lot of different things at once, which many
would show you, but I have right here on my wall, I have like 3 businesses, and I went with my husband one by one, and we like highlighted what's important, what needs to be done next, all these check marks and all these stuff. They're right there. And I'm looking at them. I'm like, okay, what's next?
That's such a manifesting generator thing. I love it. See, you're living true to your design. And it's like, and if you were forced to just grow one thing, it just wouldn't work for you. Like it would suck you dry.
Sometimes, and then I'm like, I have this other idea. And he goes, Alex, stop. You have 3 things on the go. I think that's too much. Going to the 4th and the 5th. And I'm like, really?
If it fuels you and you're excited, I say go for it. Put it on the board, buy the domain, and then exactly, have it there, and then see where your energy is. Keep checking in with it like a seed. See how you're feeling, and if it really continues to like draw you in, just go for it. For many gens, there's never too many ideas.
Oh, too many. Anyways, Anna, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I had a great conversation. I appreciate you. I appreciate a connection. It's funny how the world works, that we have people that we know through our community. But again, I appreciate you and this conversation today.
I love it. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.